This podcast is supported by Music Theater of Wenatchee, celebrating 64 years of bringing stories to life. From show-stopping musicals to powerful plays, the Music Theater of Wenatchee stage is where stories come alive. Now they are writing the next chapter, and you can help make it happen. To support the next act of community theater in Wenatchee, visit annex.mtow.org and donate today.
Opening nightclub.
We're not opening a nightclub.
It's the opening nightclub. We can't wait to watch an opening night show, because on opening night we always go with our opening nightclub. Opening nightclub.
Welcome back to the Opening Nightclub podcast. This is the podcast where we get together every week to discuss and celebrate all of the theater going on in Central Washington. I've got with me today actor, director, and really a friend of mine from a long time back.
Long time ago.
Mike Magnotti. Yeah. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good, Kevin. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. It's good to have you on the show.
Well, I'm truly honored. Okay, I really am.
Well, so we're working on 1776.
Yep.
And we've talked about it multiple times. We finished the minutes earlier in this year. And at that point, we were like, we've been working together since 83.
Yes, we have. That's right. So, yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while, off and on. Yeah. And you are somebody, when I was coming up in the theater, when I was even still in school, you were recognized as one of
the old guys who still goes out on stage.
No. At that time, you were up and comer on stage, and you had it down. And I don't know if you remember Frank Hussey, who was a really good friend.
Yes, very well.
Okay, great. Because we would have discussions even in school. Yeah. It was like, oh, yeah, I get to work with Magnotti. Even at the time, that was a big deal.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, Frank won the first music theater scholarship.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because I was the scholarship committee back then, and I picked him. Yeah, Frank's a good guy. Frank was a good guy. See, because I've been on the music theater board a couple times, but I am a terrible board member, and I hate meetings, so I've managed to get off and not get back on again.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, so I know my limits.
Yes, I think Arlene gave me mine, because when I came back on the board, she was able to say, yes, I gave you the scholarship for that. Yeah. And they also say, I was in youth theater, which Joan Fadden ran.
Yeah, I remember Joan.
At the memorial for Joan, Arlene said, yes, they were running youth theater for at-risk youths. And it was like,
really?
I don't think I was at risk.
Don't remember that being the case.
No, I don't think
so.
No,
but Joan directed South Pacific, was the first music theater show I was in.
Oh, so, okay. And was that 82, 81?
It was about that. It was around there. But I remember Rosie and I had been living in, we got married here, went to Seattle for a couple of years, and I wanted to get back into theater. Yeah. So I saw music theater was doing South Pacific, and I did not want to sing. I had a morbid, horrific fear of singing in public. Okay? Yeah. So I called Joan up, and I said I had some theater experience, and, I said, I'd like to try out, but are there non-singing parts in this show? And she said, yeah, there are. And I said, well, will I have to sing at auditions? She said, oh, no, you won't have to. Now, I've told this story before, okay? So I show up, and I do the reading, and then you do the movement part, which, good grief, And then they send me into this room, and Glenn Carr's at the piano, and he says, well, what are you going to sing? I said, well, Joan said I don't have to sing. She says, no, everyone has to sing, so... well, what can you sing? And I said, well, I don't have anything prepared. He said, well, do you know that song, Doe Deer, from Sound of Music? And I said, I would rather stand here and drop my pants in front of everybody than sing that song. So I sang Summertime, which is one of my favorite Janis Joplin. So I know it was terrible. It was terrible.
Wow.
I had to force myself to get over this fear of singing.
Yeah.
I made myself try out for a music theater melodrama. I took voice lessons from Dan Jackson for a while. And
nice.
And there you are.
Wow. So you said that getting back into theater. Now, I know you grew up in New Jersey.
New Jersey, right.
And so were you doing theater in New Jersey?
Yes, did high school stuff, and I had a director who was very conflicted in many ways. should not have been a high school teacher.
No.
Let me put it that way. But we learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
We did a lot of improvisational stuff, and that's where I learned a lot of acting technique and skills and that type of thing. So I was in high school plays. Matter of fact, I did something terrible. I was graduated, and he brought me back to be in another high school play.
Wow.
And he got away with stuff he shouldn't have. And I should not have taken the part. But, I was an actor, but it was a good part. It was Johnny Pope in Hat Full of Rain.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with it or not.
Yeah.
It's about a drug addict he was a war hero in Korea, comes back addicted to morphine. It was a great play, did a great job.
But also a weird show for high schoolers.
Yeah, it was. But it was done well.
Yeah.
But, and then when I moved out here to Wenatchee, I was going to Bethesda, and we did a lot. Are you familiar with the Bethesda Church?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We did a lot of original stuff, and some of it was pretty good. A matter of fact, one of the first things we did was a play I wrote, actually, called Unto Us, which is about Mary and Joseph.
Okay.
2 kids and the situation they were in the Bible where they get engaged, they're in love, and all of a sudden Mary shows up pregnant. Joseph has it was really a good show.
Who was running that program? Was that Paul Williams?
Paul Williams did. Rachel Powers, his dad.
Yeah.
He and I collaborated. Well, if Paul was here now, I don't know if he'd like me to say we collaborated on a lot, but we did, okay? But yeah, no, Paul was pretty artistic, and he, of course, ended up doing
Captain for Sound of Music for years. Yeah.
Yeah, but we did some really pretty good original stuff. That Unto Us was one. We did one based on the Bible, the Gospel of John, called The Word. Mm-hmm. There was another one about Moses. And we took these all over North Central Washington, went to Europe with them. Did these shows?
Really?
Yeah.
How long? Like, were they full hour and a half?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They were, and I remember going to dance practice. I had to dance in these things, which meant do the, what do you call it, where you cross your legs over. But we would be up till 2 a.m, Wow. It was terrible, So these practices now with Hot August Nights do not compare to what we went through with. But yeah, I had done stuff with Bethesda, but then we left, went over to Seattle for a couple of years, and when I came back, I wanted to get back into it. So I called Joan up, and the rest was history.
Okay. Wow. No, I had no idea. I didn't realize that Bethesda was doing that type of
a lot of religious drama. Stuff is pretty schmaltzy, okay? Mm-hmm. But ours, in all honesty, it was really pretty good.
Oh,
okay,
awesome.
And it's just. And it was a good experience.
Okay,
so,
that's awesome.
So,
do you have scripts from that stuff around?
I have some somewhere.
I might be talking to you. That sounds kind of interesting.
All right, I have some somewhere. I'd have to look. I'd have to look and see.
Okay,
so
that's awesome. So you got started in music theater and were an actor,
right?
And at the time, you were also a cop.
Actually, I didn't become a police officer. I started with music theater in '82, and I got hired by the police department in December of 1986.
Oh, okay.
So for that next 20 years, it was somewhat limited. I never did an Apple Blossom show because, of course, the police department was otherwise occupied
during Apple Blossom.
But that's when I directed Dracula for the second time, which was the first show at the Riverside Playhouse.
I was just going to say, it was before I came back to town, and that we always talked about Dracula. You directed that.
I had done it at Benton Street.
Okay.
And then, again, it was the first show we did at the Riverside Playhouse.
Was everything done at the Riverside Playhouse when you opened that show?
Pretty much.
Okay.
We had a conflict because the guy painted it. And he came in and wanted to paint again. And one of my actresses, Leslie Pike, do you remember Leslie?
Oh, yeah.
Leslie had a reaction to the paint. And she kept saying she didn't want, And I told the painter, I said, look, just wait till the show's over. No, I'm a professional. And he just was being a jerk about it. So I can't remember the music theater's president. His first name was Mike, who was president at the time.
Is that Mike Armstrong?
Yes, it was Mike Armstrong.
Okay.
Right? He came in and got it straightened out somehow. But no, I'm sorry. We did Dracula there. I had also did, we were still in Benton Street when we did Arsenic and Old Lace with... Nita Payne and Leslie were in that.
We need to do that show again.
So I was able to do some stuff. And again, we were talking earlier off mic about The Wiz that the high school did. I was in that. I helped a bunch of high school stuff. So I still kept my hand in.
So you were in
years.
The Wiz as what?
I was The Wiz.
You were The Wiz?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Well,
so you tell me you want to come and see The Wizard. Yeah, I played the whiz. I was a very white whiz.
The whole show was white.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still kind of amazed. That was one I don't think we could do it now.
Probably not.
No.
Okay. Well, the first time we did West Side Story at the high school.
Yes.
Okay, I heard Dan Jackson was going to do that. And I went to him and said, look, you've got 3 adults in that show. You should cast adults. Mm-hmm. He said, well, what do you want to be, Krupke? I said, no, I want to be Lieutenant Schrank. That's the part.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was Lieutenant Schrank. I can't remember who played Krupke, and then Keith Sexton played Doc.
Oh.
And you were in that show, right?
I went to Eastmont.
Oh, okay. All right.
Eastmont didn't have musicals at the time.
Okay, but that was incredible. I mean, I loved working with the high school kids. They got along well with me. And like I say, Lieutenant Schrank was a great part.
Yeah. No, that was a show, I was right in the pocket age-wise, and so I went to go see the show, and it was physically painful to watch that show and realize that I could not be in it.
I know that feeling. But I wanted to say, the first time we did it, there was one Hispanic kid in it. Mm-hmm. The second time we did it years later, and I got to play Lieutenant Schrank again, all of the sharks...
We're Hispanic.
We're Hispanic, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
So we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got kind of a side initiative where I'm trying to figure out how do we get more Hispanic kids into local theater.
Yeah, I think they need to be exposed to it. Mm-hmm. We've got Hispanic neighbors in my neighborhood, and I'm always trying to get them to come see shows and stuff. And
yeah. No, well, maybe we can talk. I've got a few ideas, but it's really something that it's going to take 10, 15 years to build, that type of actor and audience that we can get Hispanic families to come out and see these shows.
And we also need to think about shows that are pertinent to them.
Yes.
But that's...
Well, that's a chicken and egg thing, because how are we going to do In the Heights unless we have Hispanic kids in it?
Right.
But then how are they going to want to audition or get any experience if we're not doing things like In the Heights?
Well, true.
Right? I think it goes back and forth.
But it's kind of funny. I was thinking about this, that I stayed wanting to do live theater because my first couple of experiences were horrible.
Really?
I was
in Jersey or here?
No, this is in New Jersey.
Okay.
I was in second grade.
Okay.
And the teacher wrote this crazy play called The Storyteller's Tale about these Native Americans. And I got cast as the chief of the tribe. And I was the one who didn't like the storyteller. Okay.
Did you have a headdress?
Oh, yeah. We had all that. But here's the thing that really that don't turn me off. The teacher comes up and she's got these red circular stickers that are kind of shaped like stars. And she starts licking them and putting them on my face. And I'm going, what are you doing? Well, you're supposed to be an Indian, so you have to. So I am mortified that
you've got red stars on your face.
They weren't like stars; they were like rounded stars, but they were about an inch wide. And she's there right in front of me, licking them and sticking them on my face. And I hated it. I mean, I covered one up with my headdress. I managed to peel a couple off without her knowing it. But I just felt like an idiot with those things on my face. But then
it's because you were a redskin? Is that what it was?
Look, I have no idea what was in that woman's mind, okay? But then when I was in 5th grade, I had one line in a play, and I blew it. I didn't study, I didn't practice, and I was humiliated, but here I am.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you stuck through the failures in 5th grade.
I am too. It's great. Matthew Pippin says he's a fear-driven actor, and I know what he means because I'm scared to death I'm going to screw up. So I do work hard to memorize stuff and remember my movements and, blocking, that kind of thing. So
well, and maybe we could talk about that because that is something that comes up with my wife, who will never get on stage. And she has
same thing. Rosie never. She doesn't know. She has no understanding of what I'm doing.
Well, she's incredulous that people would want to get on stage. Yeah. That why would anybody want to go through that anxiety, through that fear? Yeah. So why do you do it?
Okay. I'm an attention whore.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. My pastor Tim Wilbur, once made fun of me in church and everybody laughed. And he came up later to apologize. I said, Tim, I'm like a lawyer. Any publicity is good. But that's part of it. But also I got this strong desire. I envy good musicians. I'm not somebody who can play an instrument. I don't have the discipline to practice.
Yeah.
but I want to have a creative outlet, okay? And theater gives that to me.
Yeah.
Now, I do things that, the show, it's only a play.
Okay.
Remember that? We did that a few years ago.
I think so.
I'm on stage every second.
Yeah.
Okay, except for the first 20 seconds of the play. I had 52 pages of dialogue to memorize.
Wow.
Okay, now I may not want to sit down and practice scales on the piano or on a guitar, but I will memorize lines.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there was another one. Drowsy Chaperone.
Mm-hmm.
That one, a lot of stuff had to memorize.
Well, and you were on stage nearly the entire time. The
right.
first song in the second act, you weren't.
But I have to take a pee. But I come back and there's all these Chinamen on the stage.
So I will say I was so impressed with your line memorization for the minutes.
Oh, well,
because
thank you.
You came in and it was like within the first couple rehearsals, we realized that, Mike, you had memorized an entire, was it 3 or 4 page monologue?
Yeah, there were 2 monologues that were both fairly long.
Yeah,
so.
But you had it memorized, and in the script, they had you reading this.
Yes.
But you had memorized it, and I'm assuming you'd talked to the director who said, we're going to do this completely in the dark, so you've got to memorize it.
Well, see, I had thought the second monologue I would be able to read.
Yeah.
But, the director said, no, you're going to be in the dark, so I had to memorize it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Now, remember David Osborne, who played...
Oh, he was fantastic.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
That was his first time in a show. Now, I've known the Osborne family for a long time, okay, and known David. So I went up to him and when rehearsal started, and I said this, learn your lines, because you can't act until you know them. You're going to try them. Mm-hmm. You're going to try to act, and we do this. When we're rehearsing our lines, we're performing,
Yeah.
Well, you can't, it doesn't work. But since I had the lines memorized early, and he did too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I was able to work through the character, and I did tried things differently, and didn't get much input. But remember the last part where I said, what are you going to do, disappear me? Mm-hmm. I had tried that a number of different ways, aggressively and whatever, and I did it frightened once. And my daughter, Marie, who was in the cast, said, oh my gosh, you should do it frightened, because I got chills. But since I had the lines, I could work through these things, okay, and try different stuff to see what works. So that's what I always tell these young actors. I said, learn your lines early.
Yeah.
We need to tell some older actors that too.
Yes. I was really late on that one.
No, I was impressed with you because at one rehearsal, you had yours.
I think, and really this goes out to anybody listening to the podcast, the rehearsal process, it's completely different if you have actors that have memorized their lines on day one.
Yes.
Because then the director can start directing during blocking and can see things that he doesn't like and change it there.
Right.
Otherwise, honestly, there's so many, and you see it especially in the Apple Blossom musicals, where the first half of rehearsals, like if it's a 2-month process, the first month is people learning their lines, and you don't start actually acting until the second month.
Yeah.
After blocking and everybody's got their lines memorized.
Right.
I have found as I've gotten older, that becomes more difficult, memorizing lines.
I seem to memorize them the same, but recalling them. It's like the other day, I couldn't remember what Rutledge's name was.
Nice.
One of the characters in the play.
Yeah.
But I think that's just because I'm old.
Yeah. Well, and you've also got a character that is somewhat inebriated all the way through the play.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's kind of typecasting.
So you can struggle a little bit with the lines and make up for it with a little bluster, and it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're doing great, and
thank you.
You are one of the people that for this show where I was like, okay, yeah, no, he's a actual actor, because you showed up with your lines memorized, your character pretty much done, and allowing Jamie to say, okay, let's change this, let's change that.
Jamie doesn't tell me anything.
You're perfect. You're perfect.
No, I was talking to Matthew Pippin on the way home last night because Jamie said he was going to email us some notes.
Yeah.
So I said to Matthew, I said, did Jamie email you any notes? He said, no. I said, he didn't email me either. So I said, that means one of two things. Either I'm doing what he wants, or he figures I'm hopeless and not directable.
That's right. He doesn't listen to anything I say. I'm not even going to bother sending him notes. I had a good time in The Minutes, and I'm having a great time in 1776.
It is. It's a good show. It's a lot of fun. Good. I mean, we got a really heavyweight cast.
Really heavyweight cast.
And we have some newcomers that are doing very well. And the two gals from New York, Isa2 and True, great additions. You know, I mean, some people go, why do we bring in ringers like that? And I said, well, it's great for them, and it's great for us.
Yes.
You know, we've had great experiences with some of the people that, you know, when I was in Hands on a Hard Body, met a couple people that were no longer friends. I may see them on Facebook once in a while, but they were just people that enriched my life.
Yeah.
Just to know for a little while.
Well, and it's kind of nice to have community theater actors, and then we bring in a couple of young actors that are auditioning on Broadway. True was gone for a couple days because she had auditions that she had to go to.
Right.
I was telling you earlier, I was talking to Isa2 about Hell's Kitchen, which is at the Paramount this weekend, and I can't go to it, obviously, because I've got a show.
Yeah, you're tied up. Buddy.
I'm tied up. I talked to her about that show, and she said, oh, yeah, no, that was maybe one of the hardest dance calls she's ever been to, that everybody in the auditions were just sweating. And it kind of brings me back to, oh, you're auditioning for real shows. Yeah. This is
We're just out here in the hinterland.
That's right. Well, and I've always known there's a certain amount of big fish, small pond going on here, which I kind of like that. Yeah. I know that I would, even if I was going on a lot of auditions in New York, I would be getting very, very few roles.
Well, see, here's the thing, okay? I look back on, you know, my acting stuff. I have probably gotten more roles and more parts as an amateur than I may have as a professional. Yeah. I mean, there was a line I had in It's Only a Play where I was saying I was a working actor. Okay. As an amateur, that's what we've been. Okay. Now, I was not cut out to be a professional. I know that. I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts for a year. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
New York City, yeah.
Okay.
It was a 2-year school. You had to get asked back the second year. They did not ask me back.
Oh. But
I had a bad attitude. I was a screwed up kid back then. Okay, I don't blame them for not asking.
So this was like a high school.
No, it was it was after high school.
Okay,
yeah, it was after high school, and it was an accredited school. They have since moved on to join with another program, so it's a 4-year program.
Okay.
But it was, like any acting school, it was good. I know the one Matthew Pippin went to, and I know there was a couple others. Yeah. And it was good, but I was screwed up back then. Okay? Yeah. I was not in a good place anywhere. And it was when moving out here got my life straightened back out, which was good.
Well, good.
But yeah, I like to say I went to acting school in New York, Gives me a certain panache.
Well, I had no idea. Yeah. And I think that I can kind of see it now. There's a certain educated actor there that you try to cover up with bluster, but I can see it.
Well, I try. I take it seriously. I want to do my best. I told Jamie the other night, I said, I want to make him happy. Okay, I do. Yeah. Because he's pouring... I mean, you've directed. I've directed. You pour your lifeblood into this. Yes. Okay? I mean, I remember with Streetcar and, a couple other shows. I mean, I'm working on these things for a year.
Yes.
This means a lot to Jamie, this play. I want to make him, I want him to feel, yes, this is what I want out of these people. Yeah. So, because again, I mean, like I say, he's the one working hardest on this.
Well, and I guess that's a harder thing for a lot of new actors, that they've been cast in a show, and I think all of them do have a certain amount of personal needs that I need to be seen, I need to be acknowledged. I've got a certain ego, but part of being an actor is also leaving your ego at the door after you're cast and just letting the director mold you.
Yes, exactly.
Because it is the director's show.
Yeah. He's got the vision. Yep. They've got the vision. And how much work do you do on a show before you ever go into auditions when you're directing?
When I'm directing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah.
No, and that is part of being a good director, is that you will show up and you've got an idea of what everything is. Right. And that's hard for a lot of actors at auditions to realize, is the director already has in his head something that he kind of expects for that character. Yeah. And you've got to knock it out of the park if you want him to change that idea.
Exactly, yes. Because, you do go into a show to cast it with an idea of who you want to cast. Yeah. which is fine.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. And sometimes when you audition, you're not exactly, you may have done a good job. You may be a good actor or actress, but you're not what the director was looking for.
You might be the best person in the room. Right?
Oh, that's been many times for me. I haven't gotten cast.
Yeah, it's a hard lesson, but I think also, and I will bring up community theater's even a little more different, that how you act once after you've been cast, a lot of times will determine whether you ever get cast again.
That is true, yes.
Because it is a small community, we all know, and if somebody shows up that's good, that we've never seen before, we've never worked with, I know I will go to people I trust and say, have you worked with this person?
Yeah.
Why, and if they say, yeah, it was a bad experience, it's really hard to come back from that.
Yeah, it is.
And so just people out there, be the happy person that takes direction well, and that makes it much easier to get cast in the next show.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to be somebody who's easy to work with. You want to be somebody who's collaborative, who plays off other people.
Yeah.
You remember Keith Sexton, right?
Oh, yeah.
I loved working with that guy. Okay, and when he would come on once in a while to fill something in, it was like electricity hit the stage.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And he was a good director because my high school director did not let things run. He was always interrupting, even dress rehearsals. Oh. So you had no sense of continuity.
Yeah.
Okay. Keith taught me something. He gave it running time. So you got a sense of the continuity of the show and the timing. And it was good last night that we did Act 1 for the first time.
Yeah.
Because it put a lot together for me. I'm only in 4 scenes. Well, now I see how they fit together.
Yeah.
So, working with Keith was great. He was a great guy.
And I was talking to Adam Eagle, and he brought up Keith because he worked with Keith on, apparently at Eastmont, they did one of Keith's shows.
Okay.
And they... what I brought up with him is I've been directed under Keith, but also been on stage with him.
Yeah.
And even as a elderly man, his comic timing was better than anybody's.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was perfect.
Yeah.
And I tried to watch him, and I'd like to think I learned stuff that I still use today.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So you've mentioned a couple times you as a director.
Right.
So what are the shows you've directed? You said Dracula.
The first one was Dracula.
Okay.
And I had a good cast. We did it down at Benton Street. And it was funny. Just about a week before the show went on, I had a motorcycle accident.
Oh. Was it bad?
Oh, yeah. I was in a hospital. See the break on my arm there? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, the show went well. Done it at Benton Street, so it was a little bit tight. But John Sexton played Renfro.
Oh, wow.
And he was great. A guy named Doug Croft was Dracula. His wife was...
Yeah, I remember Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I did with that show, the part of Von Helsing, who was the doctor who comes in I had made it into a woman.
Okay.
And Pat Krager played that part.
Okay.
Okay, because it added an extra dynamic, and I like the fact, I like changing genders and roles if you can. And we did it again that way when we did it in the Riverside Playhouse. I can't remember who the actress was, but I had another female actor play Von Helsing, and John Valderrama was Dracula. And
really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, And then after that, there was another show I directed down at Benton Street called The Clockwork Prince or something. It was stupid. Be better if we just forget that one. It's well attended and it was funny. But, But Exit Laughing, okay?
Yeah, that was a great show.
Oh, my gosh.
That was a great show.
Nobody who I wanted to show up and try out for that show tried out. Well, kind of. Okay.
Yeah.
But I ended up with 3 great actresses, Bonnie Van Hoven, Lisa Francois, and Sue Lawson, who I think Sue's the best actress in town. But we couldn't find anybody to play the male part. Okay. We tried. My Desiree Schmidt was my producer, did a great job for the first time. That's something interesting. I saw her in Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was one of the trio.
And I didn't know her, but I said, that gal's got talent. That gal's got capability. So I went to her and I said, would you be my producer? And she said, yeah.
Wow.
And she did a great job.
Okay.
Did a wonderful job. But we couldn't find anybody to play the male part, and we were talking to bodybuilders and stuff and that kind of thing. And finally, I went to Matthew Pippin, the go-to guy.
Yeah.
I said, could you do this? He said, yeah, as long as you know that 8 hours after the show's over, I'm leaving on a trip to Vietnam with his husband.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, but we cast this gal as the female part. No one tried out for it. There was only one gal who tried out for the female part.
Wow.
Okay. For the daughter. And matter of fact, Marie, who's my assistant director, would read at the auditions. She didn't work out. So we're sitting at the table for the first reading. And I turned to Marie and say, would you play the part? She said, really? I said, yeah.
Not just read the part,
No,
play the part.
would you play the part?
Yeah.
But she and Matthew had a great dynamic. They both did a great job.
Yep.
And that show, at the curtain speech, I said, look, I hope you folks have gone to the bathroom, because if you haven't, you're going to laugh so hard you're going to wet your pants. But that show was great.
Yeah.
That was good. And then the next one was The Twisted Christmas Carol, which... I don't know how much we want to go into this one. Okay, I had cast the play, again, new people who I hadn't used, okay, but had a good cast. We got it blocked in the first 2 weeks. Then my wife's heart stopped. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah, we all remember that.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So I'm on the way to the hospital because they had to airlift her over to Seattle, and I called up my assistant director, Jane Standiford. I said, Jane, you either have to take over or get somebody to take over, okay? And she did. She got Cynthia to fill in, who I thank God.
Yeah.
But that was tough because I thought my theater career was over. I mean, I didn't know if Rosie was going to live or die for a couple of days.
Yeah, you've got priorities there.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it just really bothered me, you know. Rosie said, oh, you cried because you couldn't do the play, but you didn't cry because I was...
Oh, no.
No, honey, that's not how it works, okay? But one of the gals in the play said to me that, you know, Cynthia was a little different to work for. I said, but I want you to tell the rest of the cast something. Do not say, but Mike said.
Yeah.
She said, oh, we already have. I said, tell them to stop, okay? Show respect for her. Do not say Mike said, you know.
It became her show.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. So I came back, you know, Rosie was fine, and I came to one of the late rehearsals, and I watched the show, and then I didn't say anything, and the cast was really upset because we had a good bond.
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't want to overrule Cynthia. But Cynthia was very kind and stepped aside. She called me and said, look, I want you to go down and work with them. And I said, okay. Oh. So we went, and she said, because there's real pace problems. Okay. So I went down and we did a speed line rehearsal. Okay. Don't act, just say your lines as fast as you can. Yeah. And that fixed it. Yeah. Okay. Their pace picked up and it was good. So that one, I was proud of that. Glad to be in a collaborative relationship. So that was a great show. Yeah. That was good. But Streetcar Named Desire, I had wanted to direct that one for a long time. That is a great show. I love these straight plays. And music theater, were you on the board then?
I don't think I was for Streetcar.
I was told later that they had the biggest argument about whether to approve that show.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was a fall show and they wanted it to be a musical. And some people were saying, well, they want to do musicals in the fall. Yeah. I guess it won by 1 vote.
Wow.
So I was very thankful, but I worked real hard at that. Some people thought I was crazy for casting Brady Dundas as Stanley because Brady's such a nice guy. Yeah. But I said to Brady, I said, don't try to be Stanley. Try to be the asshole that Brady can be. Okay. He said, okay. You know, and he did a good job. Did very good. Yeah. Jane Standiford played, Emma Standiford played Stella. I can't remember the guy who played Blanche, but she did a great. And she was somebody else I had seen in just. Forgive me for not remembering these names. I'm old, okay? But I had seen her in another show. Actually, it was in Man of La Mancha. She had a very small part. Yeah. But I could tell that gal had chops, okay? So when she auditioned, she was a great Blanche. Yeah. So.
No, that's awesome.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a good show. That cast really worked hard. Yeah. Yeah, so I was real proud of them.
So do you have shows like that you're thinking, these are the next things I want to do?
Yes. I would like.
Can you talk about them?
Yes, yeah, I will. Okay, sure. I would like to do the play that goes wrong.
Okay. I think we talked about this
we did.
off mic one time.
It's a show where that's what the play is. The play, everything goes wrong in it. You need to have a set builder who is equally engaged. I mean, this isn't one of the things you rehearse for 6 weeks and then the set builder comes in and builds it. they've got to be involved from the beginning. And I talked to a couple people about it. That's still a possibility, but I know we can do it. Somebody once said we couldn't do it in our theater, but I saw Ellensburg High School do it.
Okay.
And I've always been very impressed with the job the Abbotts do with Wenatchee High School and what happens at Eastmont. And I never see that with other high schools.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I don't, okay? Ellensburg High School rocked this show. They were fantastic, okay?
Did you write down who their set builder was?
No. I should have. But no, Rosie and I just took a weekend to go down to Ellensburg, went out to dinner, would you do that sometimes? Just go see other shows. And they did a great job. And so I know it can be done. So that's in the back of my mind now.
Okay.
And there was a show I proposed to music theater. It was A Hatful of Rain, the show in high school.
Yeah.
It's a great actors play. It's a small cast. It's got some very intense stuff. I think it would be a great play to do as a straight show, but music theater didn't even consider it. And, And somebody came up to me and said, Mike, nobody wants to do your drug addict play.
Wow. So I just finished on the board, and one of the initiatives that I was trying was to come up with this new system of creating a season of shows.
Yeah.
And so everybody can submit their shows, and it kind of goes into a bucket, and then the programming committee can start pulling them out and say, we'd like to do these shows with kind of a theme, and we'd balance it out and come up with all the right stuff, then go back to the director and say, okay, we want to do it here. Are you available? And so what that means is you can put something like Hatful of Rain into the bucket, and it might not be picked for this next season or maybe the next, but maybe in a few years down the road, they're like, okay, we think this would be a great fit
and
right
put
here.
Into maybe a different time slot that you might have thought about.
Yes, that this is what we need. It used to be you would have to say, I want this to be in this time slot. And they would say, no, we've got something else for that time slot. And then it would just fall by the wayside, which doesn't make for the most cohesive season. It actually makes it really hard to create a season if you're doing it that way, because then you'll end up with holes that nobody submitted for. So I'm hoping that system, it's still in its infancy, but I'm hoping the system continues to work.
Okay. Well, we've got some good stuff coming up.
We do.
You're in Town.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with that show, but I looked at a brief synopsis of it.
Okay.
Looks interesting. John Mauser's directing that, I believe.
Yeah.
And then Dave Williams is directing It's a Wonderful Life.
Wonderful Life. I was going to say Christmas Carol, because that seems like that's the Christmas show that gets done every year somewhere.
Well, I'm going to audition for that one.
Okay.
I'm going to
Wonderful
try
Life.
for that one. Yeah. I want to be Mr. Potter.
Oh, man, what a good role. That's awesome.
And also, I'm in a wheelchair the whole time. I don't have to get...
There's no dancing.
Yeah, thank God. But we have a good next year. It's going to be interesting. Josie Meats is directing Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Yeah, I have no idea. That one is a difficult role.
Yes.
I told him I don't think I can do it because I want to stay married to my wife.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that and not...
It's... he is just, he loves Edward Albee. Okay.
Yes.
He directed for the Director's Workshop, the Zoo Story a while back. Did a great job with that. The two people in it were fantastic.
What a powerful play that most people would never have said, let's do this. Yeah. He picked it all on his own and just did a fantastic job.
Yeah. I was worried that my wife and this friend of mine wouldn't like it because it is kind of an odd play.
Yeah.
And Lane Knipfer had that 4-page monologue in it where he describes his relationship with the dog. And I really kind of was concerned. But I said to Rosie later, she says, I was mesmerized. I just wanted to hear what happened next.
Yes. Yeah.
But Lane did such a good job with that. It was about a week before we opened, and I'm watching him on stage because I was the mentor director for Josie. He starts making me nervous because he's acting like a street person. Who I had, due to my past occupation, I had quite a bit of experience.
You knew what street people do.
He really nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also Meg Sanders, phenomenal actress.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, she's been great to work with. I haven't worked with her on stage. She's really good.
I have. The first time I saw her, I can't remember what it was. She was playing an attorney. I went, wow, that. She reminded me of Sue Lawson because she was so believable.
Yeah.
But I was honored. Okay, that she asked me to be her mentor for Dead Man's Cell Phone.
Oh, okay.
Which is a comedy. And
yeah.
I said, you want Meg Sanders. She says, well, I know you know comedy. And I said, but you've directed before. She says, yeah, but I've never directed for music theater, so I have to have a mentor.
Yeah, that is a requirement for music theater of Wenatchee.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yes, that you need somebody to kind of explain to them, how music theater works, but also how that stage works.
Right.
Because a lot of people have not directed on a thrust stage with 2 VOMs.
Right.
And there is a few tricks to directing on it.
Sure.
But we've got some great stuff coming.
Yeah, we have that. Yeah. Really looking forward to it. So.
Okay. Well, here's my last question. Maybe it's my last question. What show would you like to be in?
You got me there.
Not what do you want to direct, but what do you want to act in?
What role I want to play?
Yeah.
Kevin, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I really wanted to play Scrooge last year.
Okay.
And audition for it. And was glad I didn't get it because I liked the part in The Minutes to Better, which I wouldn't have been able to do. But a role like that, I mean, it's iconic. It's good, and it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Okay? Not necessarily Scrooge, but something like that. And I don't really have anything in mind right now that and of course, me being a little bit long in the tooth, so to speak, I went up to Matthew Pippin and because he's Ben Franklin a year older than my character, Stephen Hopkins. And I said, you've got a harder job than I am because you have to act old. I am old.
It comes naturally to me.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. There's some limitations. A guy my age and physical ability.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that Jamie has me die first? And every time I'm on stage, he's had me sitting down.
That's right.
I think he's scared to death I'm gonna have a heart attack. I was teasing him about that, and he says, oh, no, that was Bethany's idea, to have you just kind of sitting down.
Oh, yeah. No, I am so happy with where 1776 is going.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a fantastic show, and it's been really, really good working with you and the other guys in this show.
You.
And
too,
women. Yeah.
Always, when I'm in a cast, I go, oh my gosh, I'm with those people? Really? Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So,
No, there's a lot of talent on that. Yeah. And we are opening up the last day of July.
Right. July 31st. Friday.
July 31st. Right now, we've got shows. We've got Sound of Music and Anything Goes going up in Leavenworth. About the time we open up that weekend, we'll also be opening up Bright Star at Leavenworth Summer Theater.
Okay. Is Rachel Powers in that again, too?
This is the third Bright Star she's been in.
I saw the one up in Quincy.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Yeah, she did a great job.
She's fantastic in this role. And Church Shakespeareans down at the Playhouse will also be opening up on the 5th of August, I believe.
Yeah, so a lot of good stuff.
We've got a lot of good stuff coming up. So if you have an opportunity, go see some shows. Definitely go see 1776 opening up.
And one thing I want to say, the Hot August night shows usually sell out.
Yes.
Okay, so don't do the usual Wenatchee thing and wait till the last minute to go get your tickets.
Yes.
And make sure when you get your tickets, you're going to the Numerica PAC site.
Yes.
Okay, because there are people who are glomming onto ways to get you to pay more for tickets than what the actual cost is.
Yes, there's third parties that will sell you a very expensive ticket.
Right.
Make sure you do go out and see these shows because I think they're just going to be an awesome shows. So see a show and make sure you go out and you see another opening night.